everyone, welcome to another Stamp Chatter video. My name is Leanne and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on the beautiful coast of British Columbia. And today we're going to play around with Cheers and Sips, which is a brand new set from Stampin' Up! Available in the new catalog and available to start ordering tomorrow. That is the 6th of May. So this comes as a set along with some dies. I've kind of pulled everything apart, but anyway, these are the dies that come with it. And as always, there are things that you can cut out of your DSP if you want to purchase the DSP. You can get this as a suite as well. And I believe it comes with this die embossing folder, if I'm not mistaken, and another one. Anyway, I'm not really here to talk about the suite. I just want to show you this project today and talk to you a little bit about fussy cutting. Now, this DSP, and yes, there are die cuts for it. You can cut out the simple glasses here that don't have anything coming out of the top because these are basically outlining the shapes. But then you have these that if you want them, they need to be fussy cut, and a lot of people don't like fussy cutting. So I thought maybe for those that are intimidated by fussy cutting, maybe I could help you make it not so intimidating. So my goal is to take one of the 12 by 12 pieces in that DSP. That, by the way, has a name to it, and it's called Celebratory Sips. And this is the other side of that 12 by 12, which, you know what, not my favorite color, so I'm okay with cutting this up. I'm going to cut all these glasses out. I'm even going to cut those glasses that are partially shown, because you can use those, so don't think you can. Maybe not so much these ones because it's the bottom half, but if you've got the side half perhaps of a cup or the top half, cut them out. You can still use them. Here's one example I haven't actually cut out. That was on the side of the DSP paper. I think it was here. But anyway, I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks that I have learned along the way on fussy cutting. And this actually came up in my girlfriend's video that she did the other day live, and I thought, you know, it's kind of a good thing to talk about. It's not as difficult as you think, but it can be kind of intimidating. So I'm going to tell you the best tip I was ever told on fussy cutting is move the papers, not the scissors. Obviously on the straightaway is pretty easy, right? And I keep my eye on the tip of my scissors. I don't really look at the line that I'm cutting around because I don't want my brain to cut on it. And I am one that likes to leave a bit of white space around the edge. I think that looks nice. You don't have to. You can cut right on the edge. I just don't think it looks as nice. And so I won't always do one continuous. I will just, and you know what? I actually find it quite cathartic and relaxing. Well, maybe cathartic's not the right word. To fussy cut. I don't mind it at all. I'm going to do a whole 12 by 12, so my fingers might get a bit cramped by then, but that's okay. I'll do a little bit here and there. But at least I will have a bowl full of already pre-cut little, not stickers, but basically making my own little die cuts here. And there you go. Okay, so, and then see this half is missing, but that's okay because I'll just put it on the edge of a cardstock like that, and I think it'll be just fine. Now, oh, I was going to say that's the bottom. This is the top. Obviously, again, the sides are really simple to do. Again, move your paper mostly, not your scissors. And don't look at the edge of your image. It really takes practice, fussy cutting. This is a practiced skill. You might maybe have it kind of right away. You would gravitate towards it. Some people have a harder time than others. And for those that really find it difficult, I have a little tip that my girlfriend taught me on her video the other day, and I'm going to share it with you. But you see, I'm not doing one continuous. I will kind of cut it off. What do I mean by that? Like snip it off to get rid of some of the paper and then go back in and start over. That's okay. Sometimes, not this piece, this is not a good example, but maybe I'll show you on something else. But maybe if I'm holding this really big piece, for instance, and you know, I start cutting this out, it's too cumbersome, obviously, to hold such a big piece. So do yourself a favor and try and just cut out what you want to fussy cut. That is much, much easier to get rid of some of that white space or that extra around it rather than fighting with it. If you find that your the paper that you're cutting, parts of it get in the way, just snip it off. And it's okay to stop, right? Like it's okay to just do this. And then I'm going to see where an appropriate place is to maybe stop. And I'm going to say up here, snip it off, no big deal. Turn your paper, go back in, and start up again. It does not have to be this continuous cutting. It helps to be continuous, but there are areas you'll discover that, you know, doesn't work. So I've snipped that part off. I don't really care. I could have turned the corner, but it's a sharp corner, so I'm okay with that. And that's another one cut. Let's try another one. Let's try the umbrella. So I'm going to take the umbrella out. Just makes it easier. Whatever makes it easier for you. So again, move the paper, not your scissors. There are times where it might be appropriate to move your scissors, or you're moving them ever so slightly, like ever so slightly. But really what you're moving is your paper, not your scissors. And honestly, this was a game changer for me when I kind of discovered this and figured it out. All right, so I'm going to show you, let's just finish cutting this out, and then I'm going to show you a little trick if you still just can't get it. And again, I'm going to say this, fussy cutting takes practice, and I would just go slow. And you don't have to go in order. You see all that white space? Maybe you don't want to take that out. You don't have to take it out. It's up to you if you want to take it out or not. But if you want to, I might take maybe this section of white space out and then decide later. So I'm going to cut down to the glass, and then I'll go in here and just snip that out. I'm not going to go into that white space. I think that's just too much fussy cutting, even for me, so I will leave it as it is. Just maybe round that corner off a little bit so it's not so tight. So let me show you if that still doesn't work for you and you just can't quite get it. Let me show you on, let me take this tiny piece down at the bottom. Again, my goal here is to cut up this full 12 by 12 sheet and cut out all those glasses so that when I go to make cards, I don't necessarily have to stamp a glass. I could, because I have the images here, but to me, I would have to color them, and I could because I don't mind coloring at all. But there are times you just want to throw a card together really quickly. All right, so here is the little trick that my girlfriend Allison was showing everybody else. I'm going to pass it on to you. So she actually goes in with a pencil around the image that she is cutting out ever so. This is actually the very first time I'm doing this, so I'm not even sure if this is how she does it, but I hope you can see that. I'm barely putting a little line on here, and I don't really, quite frankly, care if it's perfect. But she does that. And for her, this works like a charm. I don't need to do this, but maybe this works for you. And then she follows the pencil line instead of looking anywhere else. And I guess for some, it's hard to keep your eye maybe 1/8 of a way from the image, and it is for her. She says it's just difficult, and she would rather keep her eye on the line and cut on the line. So maybe that works better for you. But anyway, I am going to continue cutting this all out, and then I'm going to show you what I am making with this new set, Cheers and Sip. So stay tuned for another card. Okay, so I almost have all my pieces cut out from that 12 by 12. And I hope you learned a little something about fussy cutting. It really isn't that difficult. Biggest tip I can give you is move the paper, move the paper, not your scissors. This one was cut off, so I'm actually gonna cut this off. You can always put one of the leaves in there that is in the stamp set. I can put one of these leaves there, and I'll just overplace the stem there, and then I'm good. So I'm going to show you a fun card. It's called a peekaboo card. So I'm actually not going to do any stamping on it other than words. I'm going to use some of the pieces that I have cut out, and I'm going to place this in a little plastic envelope for now, and then we will get cutting. All right, and then that will go in my DSP pack. I still have one more 12 by 12. I'm not going to, of this design, I'm not going to cut it out yet. Oh, found another one. But if I decide I like this look rather than trying to color it myself, then I will cut the other 12 by 12. So, all right, so this card is called a peekaboo card. So I just made one. It kind of goes like this. So then you open it up and it does one of those. So I haven't actually made one of these in quite some time, but they're super, super easy to make. So let me show you how to make your own. And you need quite a bit of cardstock. I'm going to do something different. Instead of using a white base, I'm going to use the new Strawberry Slush. I don't know if this is going to work or if I'm going to like it, but I'll always have to fly by the seat of my pants just a little bit when I'm creating a video. So there you go. Okay, so I always have these 3 little pieces. Let me show you this first in my crafting box so that I can remember how to make. If you want to screenshot this, that might be, let me see, does that fit? Take a screenshot of that. So what I've done is we have our front section of the card, and it is at 8 1/4 by 4 1/4 with a score line at 2 3/4. I'll go over this again, so don't worry. And then we have our back piece with a little bit of a fold on the side, and then inside of the first card, and I have placed a circle there just to remind myself where to punch the holes. So let me just bring this back in. And so these are 3 pieces, believe it or not. So this is one piece, and that's glued onto this piece here, which is the 4 by 4 right here with the circle. And then this back piece that has a tiny little flap on it is added onto the back. So it feels a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. So I will show you how that works. So let's bring in the Strawberry Slush. Let's see how it works in a color rather than with the white. So first piece I'm going to cut is going to be 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. So this is already 8 1/2. So I'll just chop that down to 4 1/4. And I'm going to score this 8 1/2. I'm going to double check all my measurements. 8 1/2, 4 1/4, and I'm going to score it at 2 3/4. Okay, that's my first piece. Take my second piece and I'm going to also do this at 8 1/2, which should be this way again, 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. You're going to have this as a scrap, and then 4 1/4 score. So you're making a 4 by 4, or I shouldn't say that, a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, just like that. So I think this is like, I've tried doing this in sort of 2 colors and I didn't like it. I need to grab another strawberry slash, so hold on. Of course, this is one of the new in colors this year for Stampin' Up, the 2025 to 2027. All right, and the last piece is going to be 5 3/4, again by 4 1/4. So let's start by taking off 4 1/4. And then we have this that we can set aside for something else. And 5 3/4. And then score it at 5 1/2. So that's basically giving a 1/4 inch score line on this side. All right, that's all we need to do for that. All right, I have my dies from the Stylish Shapes. Got a couple of them in here, and I'm going to use a couple of these circles. This is such, if you don't have this one, I think this is my go-to for many things, just because it has the basic squares and circles in it, and I just like the stitched look. So I did this circle. You can do this with a punch, by the way. You don't have to use this. It's just that I know I can go through 2 layers. So this is my 4 1/4 square, and I'm going to kind of line that up so I have about the same distance up at the top as to the right. And I'm gonna go cut that out in a second. And then I'm gonna take, because I always forget to do this piece, then we're gonna take our front panel, this one, that has the little 2, and you know, you really need to score these. That's another thing. I don't often use my bone folder to score my score lines, but this one's kind of important to keep it flat. Okay, so don't get confused here, Leanne. We have 1, 2. Did I drop my other piece? Of course, I've lost it already. Anyway, is it under here? Yes, of course it is. All right, so let's put that aside. Again, I'm going to use this circle, and I'm actually going to use this one as well. The shape doesn't really matter on this one, and you'll see why in a second. All right, so we have, and I'm going to have to refer to this card because no matter how many times I've made it, my brain gets a little confused. So here's the 4 1/4. We are going to put our, I'm going to bring in some tape, and I'm going to tape that down in the corner here. All right, so we will run that through and get that. And then I'm going to take this piece, because this piece is eventually going to get glued on to this piece. So I'm going to put it in the back, okay? And so this is my 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Here is my 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Yes, 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. That's what I have written down. Let me see what I did on this card. Oh no, it works. Does it? It's fine. Okay, 8 1/4. I did 8 1/2, so let's just take a 1/4 inch off. All right, so I misspoke. This front piece is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4, okay? Scored at 2 3/4. So now what's gonna happen is these two pieces are gonna get glued together. Actually, this is going to go on the front. And I also need a circle on the top. So I don't think I'll get through 3 layers, but I might get enough of an impression underneath. And so I'm gonna run this through and I will be right back. Okay, so I did run it through 3 layers. I knew the first 2 would be fine. Let's just carefully take this off. I knew these 2 pieces would be fine. I knew the third piece would be a problem, but that's okay. At least I have a mark on where this goes rather than trying to guess exactly. And so because this has those little dots on it, it actually, if you move it around, it'll eventually just find all the grooves and it'll stick there. So I'll put some tape on there and I'll run that through and be right back. So that worked. The only other thing I'm going to do is take this bigger circle and I'm going to cut out a basic white piece out of this one. So I'll do that and that should be all my cutting. Let's see. I'm going to use, I'm going to bring in the matching DSP to this Cheers and Sips bundle. It's actually a suite, and I will put the link to everything in the details below so you can get a better look at all the beautiful paper that it comes with. Let me just pull this all out. All right, so we have this paper. This is the 12 by 12 that I've just finished cutting, and I'll reserve this in case I want to do that again and I use all the pieces. I'm not really married to this color in the back, so I wouldn't mind actually cutting that all out. Okay, there's that piece. There's these beautiful flowers, of course, ×2. So this is another new in color. Oh my god, clover, is it cloud? Oh my gosh, I forget the name. Cloud clover or something like that. Anyway, and then there's this piece with very dark back to it. All right, so those are all the pieces. I'm gonna use, which piece am I gonna use? For this one, I'm going to use, where did it go? I'm using Strawberry Slush. I'm going to use this piece. All right. Let's put all this aside and immediately back in my pouch so I don't lose everything. All right, so we're going to do that. That's going to be on the front of our card. So this is going to go like this. And you know what I'm going to do is actually glue this on right away because there is no decorating that I need to do on this piece. It's just going to get glued down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get that part out of the way. So I like to use the liquid glue instead of tape so that I got a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, so it opens right to left. And then this is the front piece. It's going to go over top. Just going to open this up so that I can make sure that this is exactly lined up. And have a little bit of wiggle room while this glue dries, and I think we're good. All right, so now I have this. Okay, so I'm going to decorate the front. And I'm going to cut a piece here that is, let's see, 5.5 by, I'm going to guess, I'm going to go, I don't think this is 1.5. want it to go in between here. So I'm going to do 1.5 less than 1/8. What is that? 1 3/8? Is that one? Let me see. This is the idea. Sit it down like that. Okay, and then 5.5. That's the width of my card. All right, so that is going to sit down here. And I wanted something more simple because I want to decorate this with some of those cutouts. And so I didn't want this to be overly busy. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue that down. I mean, this is nice too, isn't it? But it is, it's just a bit busy for me. So let's glue this down. Okay. Just like that. And I'm just going to bring in the last piece. You really can assemble the whole card before you do any decorating. It's really not imperative that you don't. But I would use a bone folder. It just helps to everything to stay very clean, crisp and clean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take some double-sided tape. Now, that's barely 1/4 inch. I do have some double-sided tape that's only 1/8 of an inch thick, so I'm going to use that. Again, you can use glue. It'll just take a bit to dry. So this is going to get adhered to this, this piece. So it'll sit like this. Let's see how my other piece went. Well, I think I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to open this up so it's flat. That'll make it easier, and just attach it. It's just an extension, really, of the center of this card. Oh, that didn't work so well. There we go. All right. You don't really get second chances with this double-sided tape, so I will be very careful. All right, there you go. So now really we have the whole card assembled. So you can see how this piece here is going to come in focus when we open up the card. So let's finish decorating the front. Let's bring in my bag of cutouts and let's decide what we want here. There's not that many that have, oh, I forgot to cut one out. Oh, I like the umbrella. So I think we'll do that one. Let's do a shorter glass. Maybe one of these. So that's the idea with that. And on the inside, so on this little flap here, you can leave it the color of your cardstock that you chose. But because I did a colored one as opposed to a white one, see how I did the white one and then I actually brought in a bit of color. I'll open that up, you can see this is what I did. Just to give it a bit of contrast and something different. So I'm going to do the opposite, and obviously I will stick white on the inside. Now you could, if you don't want to cut out another circle, you could just put a white piece of cardstock there. But this works for me. Whatever works for you, just make sure you can cover up that hole on the right. I might even actually do this, and I know it's covered for sure. I'm running out of glue yet again. Is it just me, or do we go through a lot of glue when we're crafting? Okay, now I'm going to close this. Am I doing this right? What am I doing? I'm confused already. Hold on. Let me go back this way. I had it on the wrong side. I want it on this side. Ooh, ooh. Mistake averted. And it fits just perfectly. All right. So that, see who I mean about a little, I mean, it isn't confusing, but it kind of plays with my brain a little bit. And then when you open it up, you've got white space. Love that. Okay, I could even do white space here if I wanted to. I might do that. I still have these little cutouts, although they'll barely fit. The only thing is when you put something, that would mean putting something here, is sometimes this edge can catch. So you have to be careful of that. So what am I going to do? I think I am going to use this white piece. I think I am. Let's see. Again, I haven't done this color combo, and so I'm still kind of playing around. That's a fun color. That kind of pops, doesn't it? So what am I going to do on the inside? Okay, so I think I will do that. And I think I will put this, I'm actually going to draw a circle back here. Take my pencil, and then I can go open this up and make sure, because that's going to be an exact fit. So I don't feel like going to the cutter and making a bigger one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue that down. In fact, I'm going to put glue here. Hopefully this works. If it gets stuck, I have a little trick that'll help. Okay, let's see how that goes. So I'm a little out of a line, but I don't think you can notice too. Oh, see, look, you can see the pencil. Pencil mark. I'm gonna make this worse than it really is. All right, let's try that again. No one will see it. And let's make sure I cover those pencil lines. Then I know that I've done it right. Okay, that's better. Okay. We'll close that again. So what my thinking is, well, I'm going to do similar to what I did in this one. So what we need to do is decide what we want to say and what we want on the inside. And I would kind of play around with this before maybe doing too much. Dry fit everything. I like to dry fit things. So that will be like that. We will open this up. We'll have a message. We might put that here, and if we're going to put it here, which is fine, see how we have a message coming through. We could even put something in the background here. See how we have one of these pieces, and I told you earlier just to cut everything out even if it wasn't a full image. This is why, because we can always put it in the background here. Let's try putting it like that. That'll end up like that. Just a little bit of playing around you need to do just to make sure everything is going to come out the way you want it to. Now, I do want the word cheers. I am going to use Strawberry Slush, and believe it or not, this is my virgin moment of using it, I think. I can't remember using it. Don't remember. Oh, I did use it. I used it in the last video. Ha! See? Little do I remember. All right, so let's just clean that for a sec. Okay, grab some strawberry slush. And I'm going to stamp cheers. I think I've got dog hair in there. Nope. Yep. Cheers. That works there. So because I know that works, I'm going to cut this off. We don't need it. Put some glue back here. Assembling this card is probably the easiest part of this whole project. Decorating it seems to be the hardest. All right, let's see how that works. Okay, that works. So if I want something on the inside when I open it up, again, here, mural, I can just hear you all. Why don't you just put that, take that down? Who's calling? Oh, I'm gonna pause the video for that. Okay, so let's just, what was I saying earlier? You're probably wondering why I don't just glue this all down. I just want to make sure what I'm doing is I'm happy with. So let's glue it down. Let's take this, and I see, because I might want to, I have my vision. Let's just do this. This would be a fun card with lots and lots of different kinds of stamps. If you've got animals, maybe, and you want to have an animal kind of peek out, and that's your, part of your peekaboo, I think that would be really cute. Really, anything goes with this one. Okay, so let's bring in some dimensions, and we'll pop this one up a little bit. All right, so I might want to put something on the inside here. So, I might take, right, like I might take this, and I just don't like that it's, let me see, if I close this. Oh, yeah. I think I might do that. That says cheers, and this will say, let's say, it's your day. I know I have let's celebrate somewhere sitting on my desk that I cannot see. There's cheers. And where, oh where? Well, hopefully I will see it in the next few seconds. All right, well, let's just glue this down. And put that on the inside here. It doesn't really matter where. Okay, so that when I open, I get that. I get, it's your day. I mean, you could just leave it at that. It's your day. I do have a let's celebrate, but you know, I mean, you could do happy birthday, cheers, it's your day. Now, if you find where this isn't bad, but if you find that this is sticking, are grabbing. So basically the edge here is grabbing here. A trick for you is to get some clear tape. And just put it ever so slightly on the edge. Oh, let's do it this way. Wow, me and my dog hair. This is getting a bit crazy. Oh, well, no one's going to see that. Okay, so let's, and that way it won't, see it's catching a little bit on this image, but it's not catching here anymore because I've put a bit of tape there. So anyway, that is my peekaboo card. I could dress this up a little more. In fact, I might bring in some of this strawberry slush. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring in some strawberry slush pretty in pink gems, and we can dress this up a little bit. Just like this. Oh, it's got a little bit of gold in it, these clear ones. Just kind of fun. Where is my tweezers? There somewhere. Okay, don't want to put anything too big up there because that'll really catch. So it has to stay on the outside of your card. So I'm going to put it in the drink, kind of like that. Put another one maybe here. Maybe a smaller, darker one. Whoop. Over here. Oh, come on. Just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know, it seemed a bit clunky to me trying to explain that to you, but hopefully in the end you'll understand it and come back and watch. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we will talk to you on the next video. Thanks again. Bye.